Hi folks, this is Raybo, and I have another mod that I want to spotlight in my 500 plus mod playthrough. It's an outstanding mod. It's not going to damage your game, and I think if folks really knew what it did and how cool and what it does in game, it would have far more than 9 endorsements and 180 downloads. So I have this in my game, and it is a spin-off of an older mod that I'll talk about. It is fantastic. It pulls the Minutemen gear that you have in your game already. So if you're a big Fallout 4 Minutemen fan, this mod's for you. Now for the LooksMenu folks, what this mod also allows you to do is use all those face presets that you have sitting on your hard drive, and I have an even 500 right now, and allows you to use all those face presets to make unique Minutemen settlers within your game. So it's a reinterpretation of another mod, which is literally, guys, one of my all-time favorite mods. Now, the one thing I'll say about the difference between this one and this one is this will spawn them if you don't have, it's based off the CBBE. So if you're if you're all natural, then this will spawn them natural, or if you have underwear on, this will spawn them, in their underwear. This one spawns them with the gear from your Minuteman level list. And that ties into, the author here is using some, We Are the Minutemen. I am using You and What Army, Militarized Minutemen uniform patches and insignia. And guys, I have to tell you, if you have Militarized Minutemen uniforms and you're not using Militarized Minutemen uniforms and patches add-on, there's not much I can say. This is a fantastic mod. Zach Tan is a super great author and individual, and I highly recommend this mod to anyone that's out there that wants to use the Minutemen. It adds a lot of immersion. There's some great gear that he's added into his mod. Just some fantastic options. And then, of course, the Militarized Minutemen is where, it's pulling from my level list and using their uniforms. So all these mods, these other 3 mods, are pulling into this one. So when I get in game here, you'll see how they spawn and how cool their uniforms look, and the fact that you can modify them. They come geared up with better weapons and stuff. It's a really a cool situation. Now, what I want to talk about here too is here's a great mod. All right, and I can tell you, just because I've used mods like this for a while, there's another great mod out there that does something similar for Far Harbor that uses a spawn button. What I want to talk about here is here's a great mod that all you need is a list. It doesn't have a button, but all you need to do is a list. And I think that puts off some of the newer users. And so what I want to do with this video is show everyone some of my suggestions to get using this mod and have a lot of fun and really enjoy it. And hopefully everyone will enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed this one, because this mod has never left my load order. Archgaden, my hat's off to you, man. I use your mod to this day, every game, and maybe even every time I have a play session. Now, JMaszk, I have to say that if you do any more of these faction packs, I will have every one of them installed in my game. I do not care if you have a button. I love this mod. There's some great faction specific gear mods out there. Even Juicehead talked about one recently. And I'm telling you, if you keep doing mods like this, I'll keep plugging them. Anyway, so let's talk about the list. And being it's part of my 500 mod spotlight, of course, and you know, me being Raybo, I'm going to open Fallout 4 Edit. And one of the things that I always tell people, if you're going to get 500 mods installed in the game, you got to take a look at these mods before you install them and see how they look. Neither of these, and I'm not going to open up the Unique Settlers. I'll stick with the Minutemen Settlers here, the Unique Minutemen Settlers. But when you open it up, there is absolutely nothing in this mod that conflicts with anything. It's just a list pulling Minutemen into your game. Now, I'll show everyone how to use this, but this is what I recommend. I have Excel sheets opened here to show folks, but what's nice about Fallout 4 Edit, if I wanted to pull Unique Minuteman Settlers mail into my game, I would just click. And then I'm going to go down here, and they go in groups of 100. So I'm going to hold Shift and click them. And then I'm going to go Control C, and I'm going to use Note++. And let's put a new here because I've already done this. And all you would do is Control V. And there you go. That's all your spawnable IDs for that 100 with that voice. So these are broken down by sex and voice. So if you wanted, let's say, all female settlers, you would just pull the 100 out of out of Fallout 4 Edit into this and just put them into a list, and then just go down the list and cross them off as you use those IDs. And let's say you name them, you could call name them, do whatever. Now, there's something very important that I want to show you guys. What I recommend is using the ESL version. Both mod authors of Spawnable Unique Settlers and the Spawnable Unique Minuteman Settlers, which I'm going to call Sums. Sums here, they publish ESL and ESP versions of it, and they give you basically what the hex number is for these to spawn these into your game. So these 5 digits here are what you need to pull from your load order in order to spawn them. Now these numbers here, that's 100. These are hex numbers. So you want to really, either pull them from Fallout 4 Edit, and I'm going to show you guys in a minute how to do it in Excel. But this is real easy. So as long as you don't change the location in your load order, that's the first one. And this is your last one. And that's how it corresponds here on this list, 800 to 863. You can see it's 100, 863 to 800. So that's 100 numbers in the hexadecimal format that you can pull, 100 settlers into your game. Now, that's a mouthful. But that's the easiest way to pull these lists in. Now, you can use Excel lists. But there's a couple of things I want to show you guys here. If you pull a list like this and you change, let's say you add an ESL, this number is going to change. And where you get that number, and I might be wrong, but every ESL and ESL flag that's light, so I'm going to go down here to mine, and here's my Spawnable Unique Minutemen Settlers, and it's FE013. And here's my Archgaden, FE025. That gives you the 5 digits. So this list is still valid once you make a list. You just need to change it to that right five number and letter prefix. Now, with that, if you use the ESP version, you're going to need a couple more zeros in there because your load order might be just two numbers. So if you're going to use the, let's get it up here. You might get a number like 22. And the base number is 3. You have 3 numbers in that hex number format. Well, you're going to need 3 zeros. So based on what you're doing there, you may have to add a couple zeros. So let me show you what I've done in the past is, and I'm going to show you guys 2 Excel spreadsheets here instead of Fallout 4 Edit. Again, if you absolutely do not want to install Fallout 4 Edit, which is what I recommend, when using these mods, it's just too easy to use the ESL version and pull the list from Fallout 4 Edit. Now, if you don't want to do that, you might have to convert those numbers, and it's pretty easy in Excel, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with it because this isn't what I recommend. But you can put the first number in there, convert it to decimal, and then convert it back to hexadecimal, because you can't drag a hexadecimal in Excel. So if you drag this, it's just not gonna be right. So you got to convert it to decimal, and then convert it, pull it all the way down to 100, and then convert it back in a formula to hexadecimal. Now, what I recommend, if you insist on using the ESP, you can put the mod index number here, whatever your load order, and based on your where it is in your load order, you could put 2 zeros in there and make a quick formula. The only reason I have this, it's a legacy list. You could do something like this, and if you were really into Excel, and make it so it combines the two, so once you put the ESL number, but it's good enough just to do the list. And if the number changes, let's say here I change it and it goes up to 14 or whatever the next number is, then just modify your list that way. And let me see here. And what I've done is I just keep a list going here and cross them off. And so if this changes to, let's say, FE025, that's what I would do. If I added a whole bunch of ESLs mid-game, so the FE013 would change to FE025, and I would just continue crossing off these as I go down. Like that. And you can do it all with pen and paper. So anyway, that's how you manage these in game. And like I said, it's just too easy to make a list, call them the female even for Spawnable Minutemen Settlers, and just have a piece of paper at your desk and cross them off as you spawn them in. So hope to see you guys in game. The one thing I'll say about both of these 2 mods, and as a Sim Settlements forum guy, we always get questions about who's mortal and who's not, and this mod is breaking my mortal or immortal settlers. Both of these mods, Spawnable Unique Settlers and Spawnable Unique Minutemen Settlers, should be immortal not mortal, but immortal in your game. So they basically create what I call a super settler. So kind of like a super hero settler. So I use this in conjunction with better settlers. So I have a pretty good population of mortal settlers, and then I augment that population with these. Now, I'm also a big Sim Settlements Conqueror player, and what these are handy for in some occasions, whether it depends on whether you're at a vassal or an outpost using a Sim Settlement faction pack, you can't transfer settlers. And I find it very handy to, let's say, go into a Minuteman themed vassal or outpost and spawn a few of these, because the uniforms are similar to the faction pack. It's light gear, and it feels a lot more immersive. So there's a ton of ways to use mods like this, and I would really, why I'm doing this video is just to encourage maybe some users that have never used something like this and felt like it was a little intimidating. When people start talking about hexadecimals and lists and not having a button, is to go ahead and try it. I think you'll really enjoy it. The fact that you can create your own LooksMenu faces and have these almost, I'm not going to say companions, but familiar faces every game. It's really a fun experience, and it's also good to use up some of those 500 faces we all maybe have back loaded up in our hard drives. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking and show you guys in game. Thank you. Bye. What I want to show you guys is that, given the mods that I'm running, I'm going to sit here and go ahead and spawn in one of the spawnable Minutemen. And I'm going to do another part of this video that explains how to do this, but I'm just going to go in the console and go player dot place at me, and I'm going to look on a paper list that I keep here, and I know the mod location is FE013, and that's the mod location of my load order, and where I'm at on the hexadecimal list that I'm using, which is the female Boston voice, is 937. And I'm just going straight down my list. So now I have 8 digits, and I'm going to do a space. I'm going to put 1. And that's to make sure I don't duplicate anything from this list or create duplicate settlers. And I'm going to spawn someone in. And as you see here,
yeah. Sorry, what?
And I want to talk to this gal. And you can see all the insignias coming in, and all the uniform came in from those Minuteman mods I'm running.
Hey, General.
And I want to get her to look at me.
Hey. Hi, how are you? I'm fine.
And I hit my console again. I'm going to click on her. And I'm going to type in show LooksMenu. And I'm going to type in her ID number, FF0479FA. And that's it. And then I'm going to type in TAI. And you want to make sure that you're clicked. And I like this console highlighting thing, because if you click TAI and you're not clicked on the object, it's going to do the whole world, and then that can get really confusing. So you want to make sure you're clicked on the NPC that you want to edit. And then I'm going to, before I leave the console, I'm going to click on them again. And I'm going to exit the console.
How's it going?
She comes up in LooksMenu now, and I'm just going to hit R for presets. And I'm going to find, there we go. All right, and so I've clicked on that preset. I'm just going to hit done. I'm going to click again. Click on the NPC, and I have rename anything. So I'm going to go set name. And I'm just going to call her Babe. And I'm going to cross that number off on my list. You can see that here it says she's going to be renamed to Babe. And while I'm still on the NPC, I'm going to take her out of TAI mode, which is kind of freezing the AI. Okay, I'm going to click on them again. Exit console.
Hey there.
And the next thing you want to do is, this NPC's now been spawned into the game, and I want to put her at this settlement. So I'm going to click R, and then I can send her to whatever settlement I want to send her to. And I'm playing with Conqueror, so I have vassals and outposts, and it looks like I can send her to all the vanilla settlements, and it looks like I can also send her to everything but my outposts. So it looks like I can send her to the vassals, so I can deploy her anywhere but a Conqueror outpost. So I'm going to send her to one of my vassals, which is right here at Wakasakam. And now she can become deployable in the workshop here. So I'm going to command the NPC here. I'm going to have her take this plot as her job. Oh, I did not know that. Well, that's fine. So I'm going to click on her again. And where do I want to put her? I'll put her working at one of these agricultural plots. And I'm going to put her in one of these houses up here. And that's that. So now she's working at my settlement, doing everything but the martial plots. But now what I'll say about these settlers is the Spawnable Unique Minutemen Settlers, and also off the base mod from which they came, is that even though all my settlers here are mortal, that particular settler that I just spawned in from the Spawnable Minuteman mod, they're immortal. So they kind of turn into super settlers within your, there she is, within your settlement. Now, if this was a vanilla settlement, I would have been able to assign her to that that plot, that martial plot. But being this is a vassal, the Conqueror mechanic wants to have a settler that's been or a NPC that's been spawned and is being in use by the Liberator faction pack. So anyway, good deal. I have a very good settler there, and they're all plussed up in the Minuteman gear. I can edit them just like any other NPC. And in a game where I have most all my settlers and NPCs are mortal, she is an immortal one and can therefore come back in a fight. She'll get knocked down, but that's how those work. And I'll show you guys a quick clip at the end of the video I have tested that repeatedly. I have a lot of settler mods and a lot of NPC mods in here, and so I wanted to make sure that what I was telling you guys was accurate. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye. So sorry, folks, but we'll see if this wakes you all up. All right, folks, tests have confirmed that, in fact, Spawnable Unique Minutemen Settlers and Spawnable Unique Settlers are, in fact, immortal. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.